After unprecedented electoral success in the first year of our short party history, the BSW narrowly missed out on a place in the Bundestag with a result of 4.97%. In the end, we were 13,400 votes short. According to the provisional final result, 2,469,000 people voted for us. That is more than in the European elections, and we would like to thank you all for your trust. And we also see this as a mandate to continue building up the BSW and to lead it into the Bundestag by 2029 at the latest. Without the role of the media, BSW was largely treated fairly in the first 6 months after its foundation. When the media coverage of our party changed in the summer and at the latest after the state elections, a negative media campaign against our party began that I have never experienced in my entire political biography. While every report, no matter how trivial, was capable of putting us in a bad light and triggered extensive nationwide coverage, our content was suddenly almost completely blocked and no longer featured. This mainly concerned our positions on social issues. On the question of war and peace, the distorted picture drawn earlier was described as BSW, further fueled as an alleged pro-Putin party. Our prospects of success were systematically written down, and this campaign would not have been possible without support, too. Let me tell you, some polling institutes had us at over 7% in the fall, when most polls suddenly put us at 4%. SOT, Sahra Wagenknecht, leader of BSW party, German. This was accompanied by a wave of articles in almost all the major media that the BSW is losing more and more support and will probably not make it into the Bundestag. In January, when we averaged 6% in the polls, Forza and ZDF put us at 3%. Again, this is linked to many articles about the alleged decline of the BSW and its failure to reach the 5% hurdle. The fact that Forza then lowered us again to 3% less than 48 hours before the election, combined with widespread reporting, was not an election forecast, but a targeted campaign to manipulate voting behavior. This poll was 66% away from the election result we achieved on Sunday. Such a margin of error cannot happen to a survey institute that works seriously. And it is quite likely that more than 13,400 people decided not to vote for us on the basis of this 3% survey, because people naturally calculate whether their vote is lost. And a 3% poll so close to the election with the broadest coverage has an effect and should have an effect. Similarly brazen and in any case criminally relevant in this case were fake figures on alleged first-type forecasts that were posted on Xing on the morning of election day. I have to say, I've never seen anything like it in any election, and there were forecasts where we were surprised to find ourselves back at 3%. Posted publicly on election day. Anyone who saw this alleged forecast and took it seriously could only be dissuaded from voting for us, because a party that is forecast at 3% in the morning has virtually no chance of entering the Bundestag. Several constitutional lawyers have pointed out that the Bundestag election could also be legally contestable. 230,000 Germans living abroad have registered to vote, but apparently, only a fraction of them, the exact figures are not yet known, was actually able to take part in the election. If a party is thrown out of the Bundestag because it is 13,400 votes short and a relevant number of people were unable to take part in this election and exercise their right to vote, this raises the question of the legal validity of the election result. We will check this and of course consult with lawyers. That is why this is only mentioned briefly at the end.